What is up, everybody? This is Recap Rewind. I'm J-Lag.
And I'm NB.
And this episode is reviewing Katy Keene's Season 1, Episode 1, and it's called Chapter 1, Once Upon a Time in New York.
Yeah, and so we're doing something a little different, guys. It's not going to be our traditional podcast with like our recap roundouts at the end. It's kind of just our first reactions to this new show, and kind of talking about the characters, where everyone stands, and how the episode ends, because I'm obsessed with the ending of this episode and I'm so intrigued to see what they have like in store for us.
For sure. So why don't we go through each character? I pulled up like a website that has each character one by one, so we'll do it that way.
First and foremost, we got Lucy Hale. What did you think about her? What do you think about Lucy Hale in general, and then playing Katy Keene?
Okay, so it's really interesting. I do enjoy her on the show so far. She's very bubbly and fun, and the thing with me though is I feel like I'm looking at Lucy Hale. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know if she's playing this character because this character doesn't feel like it has a lot of it doesn't have a lot of substance right now. I think that's the one thing I will say about Katy Keene is, as much as I enjoy her character, she's very much that like narrator that needs to stay pretty neutral, I think, for the most part. Like, you can't really gauge much from her. So she's just like fun and loving, and she just wants to like be good at her job and love her friends and hang out with her boyfriend. And it's very simple. So she's a very simple character. So there's nothing that I'm getting from her that I'm like, oh my God, Katy Keene, I'm living for you right now. Like, there's nothing on that level. But the costume design is great. I think that's cool. And that's what do you think?
No, I think I agree with that for sure. I'm kind of like on both sides of it, because I do think that I do think you needed a vet actress to play her, because she is like the pivotal character. She is the central character. So you need someone with experience, I think, to hold a show. And I think Lucy Hale can do that. Having said that, I feel like I'm just watching PLL and like it's like her in this show.
That's what I mean.
And I think because the other actresses are kind of random, like except for Josie, but like we know her as Josie.
Right.
The other ones are kind of random. So I'm believing their stories. I'm believing their characters and their journeys. But with her, it sort of takes me out sometimes. And I'm like, is it Arya? Like, is she gonna like go for a teacher next? Like, because she looks exactly like Arya. Like
exactly
the makeup,
like
everything.
Yeah.
They didn't really change much, and I guess you can't really. But there were moments where like, it did take me out.
Right.
But I didn't hate it. Like, I think she played it really cute. And I think I like the production behind it.
Yeah.
And it made me like her more. Like, it was almost like I felt like she was Mrs. Maisel, but like younger version. And like the editing and the music and the lighting and the pace of the episode, it felt like that I was watching a Marvelous Mrs. Maisel almost, you know?
It's true, and it's really great that you're like kind of aligning them together, because like, I mean, for one, both shows are set in New York. It's two like female leads. They're both like trying to live their best life. This one's in fashion, obviously Miss Maisel's in comedy. So yeah, there's a lot of parallels there, and it's a really good way to look at it, like a teenage version of it, where you can like see this young and up and coming person just try to like make her way through life. And of course it's modern, right? Like Miss Maisel is set in like the 1960s or whatever. So there's that, but also like Mrs. Maisel is a slow burn in a way. There is more like, it's more like very character development-y. Like, I would never be like, MB, we gotta do a recap rewind on Miss Maisel. Like, I love that show so much, but it's not good for.
Well, it's for a different demo.
Yeah.
And I think just Katy Keene, I honestly think the writing in this episode was amazing, and I hope that it sticks throughout their whole season, because their writing and the things that they say, like referencing pop culture things and like little cute things, and I'm like, oh my God, I can't wait to talk to J-Lag about this, because I think it was so well written.
Yeah.
And Mrs. Maisel doesn't. Yes, it's a great, like, amazing. The writing is amazing in Mrs. Maisel. It's just a different demo.
Yeah,
so
it doesn't cover those things at all.
Yeah, for me, I think it's just the pacing that I'm comparing it to, and how they're kind of fast and like almost theatrical in a sense. Like you're watching a stage show because everything's happening so quickly. Like even when Josie wakes up,
totally,
and like everyone's moving around her so quickly, and she's like, "What's happening?"
Yeah. It's very well it's very choreographed. It's very set up in a certain way. So yes, you're absolutely right. And I would expect that from a show that is based in New York, you know, like they've already got that like creative, like, you know, artistic vibe. So, yeah. So her character's cool. She's a central character. She's obviously like a fashion designer or wannabe fashion designer. She's working at Lacey's, which is I guess their version of Macy's, as a personal shopper / like stylist. Is that kind of her role?
Yeah, and I think like I don't think Macy's is that fancy unless I'm like missing something. But I think they were going for like a Bergdorf Goodman kind of vibe.
Yes.
But they called it Lacey's because maybe that's all they could reference. But yeah, it's a very, very high class like department store, and she's the assistant of a personal shopper.
Yeah.
So it's cool. Like I've never seen anything like this. I've never seen that world.
Right.
So it was really cool seeing her like go look for the clothes, and she's like, I'm gonna take out Yeezys and like Prada, and I'm like, oh, this is cool.
It is cool. I always love the fact, like, I always want to see where these guys are gonna go with how modern they get. But these guys are literally saying like Yeezys. They're
for
saying
sure.
like all their name brands and stuff. So I thought that was really cool that they're staying within the world. They're still very modern. But it's just interesting because it's still a comic book show. So, yeah. So that's her character. She's pretty simple as a person. Like I said, she has a boyfriend. That's pretty much it, right?
So I don't know if you noticed this because I only noticed it the second time I watched the episode, but she does refer to her mom in past tense.
Yes.
And like we were talking about in our Riverdale podcast, when we see the crossover with her and Veronica, she does refer to her mom as being sick. That was 4 years ago. So now it's been 4 years, and it's clear that like her mom did pass away.
Right.
And so they did sort of connect those two conversations, which I really appreciated.
Right.
Just to make it all feel like it's the same world. Because I was really worried about that. I was like, I don't know if they're going to make it all like seamless, you know?
Right. Yeah.
But they did. They did a really good job with that.
It didn't feel like dun 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 4 years later. Like it was very,
for sure,
very subtle. She doesn't say like when my mom died 4 years ago, and that was before I went to Riverdale. Like she doesn't like specifically say those things, right? So I thought that was really well done as well. But now we know what the time skip is. I thought it was going to be like this major time skip, but it looks like it's still within like a 5 year realm, which once again, not that this has anything to do with this podcast, but it does have something to do with Riverdale having a flash forward to catch up to Katy Keene's storyline.
Yeah.
So I feel
that'd be so cool.
I really do feel like they're pushing for season 5 of Riverdale to be a time skip at this point, especially
I wish.
Especially since the show is set 4 years.
Yeah.
Like they're very precise with like what they said, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Anyway, so that's her character. The next character that we got to talk about obviously is a girl, Josie.
Josie.
She back.
Oh my god, I missed her. I missed her so much.
You know what's funny? I saw this not the trailer. Yeah, I think I saw the trailer, and we see her in it, and she's like, Katy Keene, and she's like, Joe. Like when they meet for the first time. So I already knew that was coming, but when I saw it on the show, I got like goosebumps. Like,
totally.
I was so excited to see her back on screen.
For sure. And I think again, like my biggest worry was, are they gonna make this connect to Riverdale? And the fact that like Veronica is their mutual friend, and right from the get-go, she's like, oh my god, hey girl. She's like, Veronica told me all about you. I was like, okay, sick.
Yeah.
Like even just the mention of Veronica, I was like, okay, I'm believing it. Because if they, I don't know, maybe they'll go through a whole scene and not even mention that they have this huge mutual friend.
Right.
You know? So I was worried about that. And right away they said it. I was like, sick. Okay.
Well, for
and they
one,
kind of intertwined Josie's lines with Riverdale and like what we've seen her go through in Riverdale. So it was well written on Josie's part for sure.
Yeah. Well, for one, I didn't know that she was just going to be her random new roommate. Like she didn't know, like she hadn't met Josie yet. Like, I thought that maybe they were like friends from time or something. So when she was like, oh, nice to meet you, like, Veronica's told me so much about you, I was like, oh, okay, so they're setting it up. Yeah,
it makes sense.
She's a brand. She's like moving in with Katy Keene because she's in New York now. Which I thought was really cool. And they do refer to a little bit of Josie's story, how she was living in Riverdale, she toured with her dad, and now she's in New York trying to make her like dreams come true. So you are supposed to assume that she was on the road with her dad for like 4 years pretty much. She
literally broke my heart when she was telling I think Lucy Hale asks her, and she's like, Katy Keene's like, oh, she's like, Veronica told me so much about your singing and like how you're so talented. And she was like, oh, she's like, Veronica was like my biggest hype person in high school, like back in the day. And like, it kind of made me sad. I was like, back in the day, like they're done high school, you know, like it's weird.
Yeah.
Like,
she's like talking about Riverdale as if it's like already been canceled.
It's been done. Yeah, exactly.
It's so tight.
And then she mentions, at some point she says the Pussycats we broke up. And I was like, did you know? Because we never got closure. We didn't know about that.
Shout out to the Pussycats breaking up via one sentence. But I was really happy to see her. And I'm so glad that she's on the show. Honestly, she's really adding a cool layer to the show. And I know that that's kind of how the comic book is set up anyway. So we're kind of expecting it. But yeah, I think I'm really excited to see where her character goes. She obviously adds like a cool musical element to it. She's a singer. So she sings like on the street. She sings in a bar. She sings like 2-3 songs this episode. Yeah.
Well, she sang the Siesta Key song, Cut to the Feeling. And I was dying. She's like, I wanna cut. I messaged Jay, like, I was like, did they have to take down the MTV version so that Josie could sing this and Katy Keene? Like, what's happening?
Did not renew their license.
Yeah.
So there's that girl, and the fact that she's got her thing going on. She kind of crosses with some of the main characters in Katy Keene as well, which we'll talk about in a second. But yeah, I'm just excited to see Josie McCoy back on screen. And you're right. Make those connections with Riverdale. Kind of refer to those moments. I don't think I'll want it like every single freaking episode. Like when I was here, like my stepbrother
it
Kevin,
won't work all the time.
You know, like it was. I don't think that it would ever be that situation. And I do love the fact that they made this show very adults only, in the sense that there's no adults in the show. It's just the kids.
That's true. Yeah.
It's just, I mean,
no parents.
It's, I mean, there's the bosses and the assistants bosses, whatever, their jobs. But outside of their jobs, like, they're just these young adults kind of like doing their own thing. And there's no like overarching like parent storyline. But yeah, it is a little confusing because you forget that her brother is, or her stepbrother is, Casey Cott's character, right? Like, she does have a family. She's just not living with them right now. So there's that.
I'm sure her mom will come in at some point, like Robin Givens. I'm sure they're gonna like hire her on for like maybe 2 or 3 episodes, just so that there is that connection. Like, her mom does come and check up on her because she does have like a cool mom. So I'm sure we'll see that at some point.
100%. Here's what I'm seeing too. Like, Kevin time skip season 5, he leaves Riverdale, maybe he dies.
I think you're hoping for that. I think everyone's hoping for that, for Kevin to come on Katy Keene.
He comes on Katy Keene, and then he falls in love with Jorge, and then they like actually have a relationship that makes sense. Like, for once.
Can we talk about Jorge? I really want to talk about him.
Okay, so he's the next person to talk about anyways.
He was amazing. Like, this kid, I don't know his name, the actor, but he's fucking talented. Johnny Beauchamp
is his name.
He stole the show. He stole the show for sure. His acting chops, his dancing, everything. Like performance wise, he's got it all. And I'm not surprised they chose this guy as like this character.
Yeah, he's got. I mean,
he's very talented.
He's literally playing a drag queen, and he's playing himself, and he's trying to dance and sing, and it's very.
There's just something about him. When he tells his story or when he's on camera, I believe everything he's saying to me.
Yeah.
And not everyone can do that, right? Like Lucy Hale. Like, I'm seeing past her in some scenes, but with him, I was like I love this kid. Who is this kid? You know? And again, I think that comes with like when they are random actors or like you haven't seen them in anything previously, you can't really judge them on anything else but this role, you know?
Right. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, so his character is a aspiring, I guess, performer. They don't really like, he doesn't say like, I want to be a dancer on Broadway specifically, but he does say, you know, you start off seeing him in an audition dancing, and then the director's like, get out of here, you're a loser. And then
they called him like too femme basically, and he's like, this is like a freaking Broadway production, like what the F do you mean?
Yeah.
And then by the end of it, did you like all his drag stuff? Like, did you like the element of the drag world in the show?
Listen, I'm always down for a drag coming into pop culture. I think it was really cool. I think that at the same time, like, no, honestly, I'm not going to even say anything about it. I think I will say I support it. I want to see if there's going to be more of it there. I think that it would be really cool if there was a way to make it feel a little bit more adult, just because he seems so young and so green. That I don't know if they're gonna like push that idea, because it seems based on the show, it seems that he's like one of the stars of this drag bar, and they're like, yes, living for him. Whereas I think he's good, but he's not like the best drag queen I've ever seen in my life.
I know, but you're also like,
I'm also like, I'm like a big I think RuPaul's Drag Race fan.
Yeah. So I think for what this show is, for the fact that it's on the CW.
Yes, no,
like,
you're right.
I think they're absolutely nailing it. And I love the mixture of those worlds together. It's not just a drag show. It's just not just a girl in New York, I gotta make it show. It's like a blend of all these different like stories and worlds into one show. And I like how like it's kind of cash, like they're just at a club dancing, but then he's like doing drag, and then like KO comes through and like gets his girl. Like, I love the mixture of all of this and how there's no like, you know, there's no like separation. Everything's just like together, and I love that. It's just very easy.
For sure. I was really it's definitely that. It's a mixture of everything in one show. And so it kind of keeps your eye visually interested. It keeps your like the story's a little fresh. I will say, and I didn't know if I would say it now or like later, but I'm very interested in how this show is going to keep people coming back, how it's gonna like really liven up the ending of the episode, which when we get to it I want to talk about that. But like the way the episode ends obviously like kicks off something exciting, but I think that I'm just very interested because it's more of like a lifestyle show versus like a murder mystery, which we're so used to.
You know what I would have loved? I would have loved if they were on Netflix and they had like 10 episodes. Because I'm worried that they're going to get stuck in the same like thing as Riverdale, like the 22 episode season. I feel like it's going to get cheesy. I feel like they're going to have like filler episodes, because it's hard. It's hard to write a 22 episode season and make it all work like beginning to end. And I just think because it is more adult, I would have loved to see it on a Netflix platform.
I know. And you're right. It is a shame when you see these shows and the potential that they can have, especially when you see Sabrina and you see the differences that there are in Riverdale. It would have been really, really nice to see a show like this. That being said, I will say that, the CW, I think, just generally calls like a larger audience, and this feels like a show that would be on the CW in a way, if that makes any sense. But I understand what you mean. Like, if it was on the Netflix, it might have been something different.
Sorry. So for Canadian, we're Canadian guys, if you didn't know already. And so how we watch Riverdale is that we watch it the next day after on the Thursday, because they upload it to our Netflix.
Yes.
So how are people watching it in Canada? How are people watching Katy Keene?
That's a good question.
Because it's only on the CW.
I don't know.
Right?
Yeah.
Maybe it's on like another network or something.
Maybe. Or
now I'm thinking about it. I'm like, how do people watch it?
I wonder if it is on Netflix. Let me check right now to see if it
I don't think it is
uploaded or anything. I guess not. That's too bad. Maybe they're gonna drop it at the end of the season. Like they're gonna do maybe. It's not on Netflix. The only thing that comes up is Pretty Little Liars and Riverdale. So that's a good question. I guess they're cutting out some of their audience when it comes to Canada, but I don't know.
It says the W. It says the W network.
Oh, weird. Okay.
Yeah, which is like a random network in Canada, guys. Yeah, that's weird.
That's like what You was on, wasn't it? Like,
see. No, because You was on Netflix, I think.
Netflix.
You was on Lifetime.
Lifetime.
Lifetime. But we don't get Lifetime in Canada.
We don't get Lifetime either.
That kind of sucks, guys. I feel like they're shortening their like audience by not putting it on like a legit like platform.
Agreed. Because Canada, CW is meant to be like very accessible. So that's a shame. But so that's Jorge.
Yeah, Jorge
/ Ginger Lopez, which is his drag name, and I am excited to see what they do with that. I am excited because it's set in a real place like New York. I'm excited to see if they do bring in real like live people from New York. Like maybe we will see a Kelly Ripa. Maybe we will see a Ryan Seacrest. Maybe we will see like a drag queen from New York. There's so many of them. Like that's where that's like drag was basically born there. So I think that there's so much opportunity to blend.
I'm sure they'll tap into that for sure.
Yeah, because like they did it in Riverdale. They had fucking Andy Cohen in one of the episodes. Like I would be shocked if they didn't try to do something like that for Katy Keene. There's like lots that they can work with.
That's true.
Let's move to Pepper Smith.
We didn't get to see much of her though. Like,
see much. No,
I think she was a cool character. She's like sassy and like smart.
She got those like smart rim glasses.
She's got an accent. She's got a British accent, right?
She seems like she would, but I don't remember.
But she doesn't. Yeah, I don't know. We didn't get to see too much of her. She seemed cool, and I'm intrigued. But like they didn't focus too much on her story this episode.
For sure. I think that she seems like a cool enough girl, and I'm sure she'll have something going on, but she doesn't really have any big, like Jorge had a whole like storyline. He
like what does she do?
Like, I don't know. Is she like a reporter? She seems like she's like a little bougie. Like she's got like some life experience that she's like, when I went here, and she sounds fancy. She sounds like an art kind of curator, connoisseur. I'm sure our listeners will give us all the tea on Pepper Smith, but I mean, I'm sure I don't know. I'm sure she's in the comics, and I'm sure she's like a character, but what do you think about a character like her when the cast is already pretty, like, it's pretty rounded out at this point, right? Like
it is. Yeah. And that's what I mean. Like, I don't know what she's going to bring to the show.
Yeah.
My only assumption is that like somehow she's like a socialite or like a like she has a connection to the higher class world of New York.
Right.
That's my only assumption, because she does seem very like classy.
Right.
And like very kind of like smarty pants, but I don't know. I don't know what else.
Smarty pants.
I don't know what she's gonna bring.
Yeah, me too. I have no idea either. Let's move on to the next character, because he is just a little snack that I want to talk about for
Kit Kat, my kitty cat.
Few days. Oh my god.
Wait, which one are we talking about? KO or the other guy?
We're talking about the other guy. Our man.
Oh, the Drake lookalike.
The Drake lookalike.
He's like a hotter version of Drake.
He's like the sexiest version of Drake. So his name is Alexander Cabot on the show. He's played by Lucien Laviscount. Like, that name already sounds like butter, richness, deliciousness. He was so hot. Like, can we just really quickly call out the fact that this guy was fucking
beautiful
hot. Like, so we're introduced by him because Josie is singing with a busker in the middle of a park. I was like, okay, cool, like, I guess we're doing this. But then he shows up and he's like, yo, your voice is so good. And I was like, Josie was in New York for 2 fucking seconds.
Literally 2 seconds.
Literally bags this god of a man in like 5 seconds. Like, what the hell? I was so jealous, even though it's not real. I
know. I was like, girl, good thing you left Riverdale. Girl, like, your luck is like fucking turning around on you.
I know. Forget Archie. This guy's fucking
But you know what?
hot.
I am glad that show, I'm glad that it kind of, not that it blew up in her face, but that it wasn't as easy as it seemed in the beginning. Because I was like, girl, this is too easy. Like, there's no way
honestly
you're in New York for like 10 minutes and like you already got a record deal.
I do love that. And we can talk about that with his twin sister, because she basically shuts her down completely.
Yeah. And I'm glad that it wasn't like a really bad thing, because I know that I was seeing some tweets on Twitter and they were like, oh my God, is something bad going to happen to Josie? Like, is he going to do something to her? And I'm glad they didn't go that way either. Like, that would have been too dark, too quick, you know? Yeah.
And I think also he is like a main character in the comics.
He's going to be,
well.
So they can't make him too bad. Like,
yeah. But yeah, this man is just beautiful, gorgeous. He's kind of like very intrigued by Josie, and he pulls her into like an audition, and it turns out that he's like the biggest of the big. He's like as rich as one of the Rockefellers, they say. They find out who he is, and yeah, so basically his whole family is like Empire, like the show Empire.
Yeah, he's basically Empire. Yeah.
So yeah, they bring him in or bring her in, and her entire like crew or his entire crew shuts her down. It's like, sorry, pass. And then we come to a woman, a lady, and she's like, hard pass. And then she introduces herself, and she's like, my name.
And she's also the girl that was at the beginning, which I didn't realize.
She's the like rich one coming in. Yeah, she was the one that
buying
came
the
into the
Yeezys
store.
and stuff.
Yeah. So there is all that connection there, that she's like this like big, rich, powerful lady. And yeah, so her thing is that she didn't really like Josie, and then she like does break down all the tea. She was like, you know, he does this all the time. He needs to like learn that like you can't just pick up a kid off of like in the middle of the park. And then she says, she's like, you think that you were the first one like to Josie's
that he got.
He got. And it does kind of like shatter that whole like fantasy of what we got to see as viewers too, because you're thinking like, oh damn, like this girl just like got a gig right away. Like how sick is that? Like what kind of luck does she have? But also you kind of run with it because it's a comic book show. So you're just like, all right, well, I guess she's going to be a singer now. But they totally turned it around and they said, nope, this is Empire. It's not that easy. Like, let's do this
I kind of figured
right way.
I didn't go into it like being all excited for it, because I'm like, something's going to blow up in her face. Like, it can't be this easy. It's the pilot episode. If she became a singer in like 45 minutes, the show would be over. So like,
yeah, true.
It just, you knew that something had to happen. But still, like, I'm glad. I like him as a character. I can't wait to see like how their relationship moves forward, if it's going to be a romantic one or just a professional one, you know?
Right. I mean, right now they kind of end things off on the rocks, right? Like they she feels kind of cheesed because she feels like she's been kind of betrayed by him. Because she thought that she was the only one. She thought that she was like the first person that kind of went through this process, and it turns out that that's not the case. So there's that. Yeah, his sister, I'm sure, is going to be a problem more than just the musical side of things, because they're twins. I'm sure there's that like level of jealousy.
For sure.
You know, like the attention, whatever. So they're going to have that struggle as well. Even though Alexandra seems like she can like hold herself on her own pretty well. She seems like a very strong character. So I'll be interested to see where they take that. Like, for one, I think that it's interesting that they have Josie as this character kind of coming in, and this other very strong female character kind of being her, not villain. I don't want to say villain, but it's almost like she is going to be that person for Josie, the person that is kind of going to stop her from feeling like she's any better than she really is, right? And yeah, I think one of the things that I thought was really interesting is everybody that shut Josie down, does that now mean that door is completely closed? Like, it's not going to open again for her, right? Like, they basically said that she doesn't have it. So,
well, I'm sure it'll open eventually, because,
but not with them, is what I mean. Like, she's gonna have to. You think that like in the season finale they're gonna turn around and Alexandra's gonna be like, "You got it. You do have it all."
Yeah. I think so.
I don't know.
I think eventually she'll win them over, whether or not she gets another deal before that, and then that falls out, and then he convinces her, like, he wants her. You can very much tell that he likes her. So yeah, in the end, it's gonna be that she's working with them in some capacity, for sure. I think so.
Yeah, they wouldn't introduce like a rival family. Yeah, like Empire family. Let's move on to our man K.O. Kelly.
Oh yes,
this hottie patati.
Love him.
Ooh-wee. He's played by Zane Holtz, and he is Katy Keene's
hot. That's what he is.
Boyfriend. He's the one, I think, that
I love him. He's like this lovable meathead.
Yeah,
but like not like Archie style, just like cute. Like
he's just like a rock.
Smart.
He like anchors Katy in a way,
and he's kind of funny, and he's kind of like, he's just not what I expected him to be.
Yeah, he literally plays like the dreamboat. Like he plays like the bad boy, but still smart and still witty and funny.
And you know what?
Loves his girlfriend.
After watching it the second time last night, I was like, you know what? I'm like, I really, really like that they've given her a good guy. And so this show is not really about her finding her next love or being heartbroken 50 million times. It's like she has her rock, she has her guy, and her whole hustle is her career, her job, her like finding happiness in that way.
Yeah.
And I just think it's going to save so much time for that part of the story and not waste time on her like finding her real love, you know?
Totally. And I think that's why you know, like I love that you made the comparison to Miss Maisel, because I think originally when I was talking to you about it, I was like, it does have that Sex and the City vibe, but in Sex and the City, everybody was single and they were like fucking all the time.
Yeah.
But in this one, it is true. Like it's not that sexualized. It's very like career driven. It's very like
totally
find your dreams versus.
And I'm sure they did that on purpose.
Dick. Yeah, for sure. But yeah, the dick that she did find is really fucking hot. So that's
like
all good.
Really hot.
I'm good with that.
And then he proposes to her in the end.
Girl,
can we talk about that?
I cannot. I was dying, and I thought it was the cutest thing that he just did it so casually on the side of the road.
First of all, he was not nervous. Like he was so calm and collected.
So solid.
He like picked her up from the freaking club. I'm like, oh, they're gonna go have sex. Like this is so hot.
Yeah.
But then they go get pizza, and I'm like, oh my god, this is even hotter. Like they're gonna eat pizza right now. And then he ordered fennel sausage, which is my favorite freaking sausage. And I'm like, yo, like, can you propose to me? He was so hot. And then she was kind of like nervous because she was like, look, I don't want to move to Philadelphia. Like, I want to be here.
Right.
And she's like, but you can go ahead. And he's like, nah. He's like, I'm wherever you're going to be. He's like, you're the best thing like to happen to me. And he's like, I'm always going to be here with you. And I was like, oh my, like, it was a cute way of saying it without sounding like needy and desperate.
Yeah, for sure.
And then he freaking proposes. I'm like, yeah.
It was so cute. Do you think, okay, like since we're already here, do you think that she's going to say yes?
Oh my God, I don't know. So the way the episode ends is like her face, like she's like, what?
She's like,
and then
cracked,
she's like, to be continued, obviously. Yeah. And it ends like that. And I was like, that's so cute. Like, what a good way to end a pilot.
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like maybe she'll say yeah in the moment and then she'll come back and be like, we're not ready yet, you know?
Right. I mean, it will add a conflict, right? Like the stakes are going to be so much higher if they get engaged. Like it's just like a bigger thing. But you're right. He does seem like a very stand-up guy. So I don't know what can go wrong outside of her being like, I want to put my career first, you know?
For sure.
And him having to
But that's what might be it, right? That's what might be the problem.
I mean, that's all it takes sometimes. But the one thing that I will say really quickly before I think because we kind of close it off, there's no one really else to talk about outside of her boss who, like, I don't really care about her. But the one thing that kind of killed me this episode was they, like, if you didn't know that Katy Keene was a fashion designer, they reminded you maybe like 17 times within one episode. Like, literally every single time a new character walked by, I was like, did you know that Katy Keene made my dress? And then, like, even him as a bouncer, he's like, yo, Katy Keene made that dress on the stage. I'm like, can you chill out, guys?
I'm like, what a cute boyfriend. He's like, yo, Katy made that dress. I was like, oh my God, he's so cute.
But like everyone was saying like those shoes, that skirt, that purse. Like everybody was calling
I do have to say, I was over her red cape by the end of the episode. I was like, okay, girl, like you look like a fucking weirdo. Like take this off. But I did like how, in my mind, I connected it to Veronica's first episode and how she was wearing a cape. And I'm like, ooh, I'm like, she must have like designed her cape too. So I'm like, okay, I'll buy it.
And it is funny that you mentioned that because, you know, you see Veronica as a character, you see Veronica on Riverdale, and she does feel like a New York girl. You know what I mean? Especially after watching this show, you're like, they've created this world almost based off of like who Veronica is in that show, you know, like how she's like smart and witty and she has all this New York knowledge, and Katy Keene is kind of like not a mirror, but very similar in that vibe where she's kind of got like the know-how, she's got the look, she's got everything going. So
I do think Katy is less vindictive than Veronica is.
I mean,
you know what I mean?
Yes. Like, definitely Veronica's more flawed as a character, where Katy doesn't seem like she has a lot of personality issues. Yeah. But I mean, she's gonna probably have like.
But they'll have to add that in, you know.
Yeah,
and
for sure.
I haven't read the comics, so I don't know how deep they go into Katy's character. But yeah, they're gonna have to add some like layers up in there.
Yeah, 100%. But that's the thing. Like I said, now that we're kind of at the end of it, I'm very interested to see where this is all gonna go, how they're gonna keep it going. What's going to keep people coming back? Like, I think those are the big questions that I have at this point. I didn't watch the trailer for the next episode or anything, so it'll be interesting to see like what that situation is all about. But I'm down for it. I don't, to be honest, feel like this is something that we need to cover necessarily
every week.
I would love to check in some format. And, you know, me and NB were discussing maybe even doing like the reaction videos for the next episode, but we can just casually watch it like whenever we get a chance. I don't know what you guys are interested in. But like, to be completely honest, I feel like this isn't a show that I would want to take on in terms of that kind of the breakdown that we break down, just because it does feels a lot lighter. It's not as heavy in terms of like, and then this happened, and then this happened, and then this happened. Like, we kind of blasted through the episode just talking about the characters, and that was enough for me. You know what I mean? Like, there's not really much else that I would want to cover. But like I said,
you guys let us know. Let us know in the comments how you guys want to hear this podcast. If you guys want it, we'll figure it out on our end, obviously. But it's always good to hear what you guys have to say and like how you guys want to listen to the recaps for this, or is it just like a reaction video to the promos? You know what I mean? Maybe something like that.
Yeah, so that's it. But before we finish the podcast, I'd like to pull out some of the comments because we asked you guys on Twitter what you guys thought about the episode. And a lot of you guys were very similar in what we just said about Katy Keene. From Postmaster Radio, he says, "Oh my God, where to begin? I'm loving Katy Keene. Great to see the gang. Katie's killing it. Josie's killing it. Poor Ginger / Jorge, though. Also loving Pepper and KO. And oh my God, I could go on forever. Can't wait for the next episode." And he also mentions, "I also liked Josie's reference to Riverdale, the murder capital of the world," which was kind of funny too.
Yeah, that was funny.
And then we also have one from at Nancy River Drew. "It was super fun. Loved getting more from Josie and thought Katy was really cute too. I'm curious to see how the storyline goes and how they keep drawing the audience back." Yes, 100%. That's exactly what I was saying. I just want to see what they're going to do with the show that kind of keeps people going.
Yeah.
And then we have someone saying already at C Derek saying, "Here for it. Hope you guys cover it." So we've already got one vote for us to kind of cover it. But let us know in the comments if you guys want us to kind of do something special with this, and we'll consider it. I'd like to take this time to thank our patrons of the episode, our Rewinder squad, White, Nicole, Faith, our Lit Rewinders, Tina Ann, Sarge, Serena, Soleil, Kate, and Jessica, and our Mommy Rewinders, Becca, Sarah, Tamala, and Grace.
Thanks, guys. And if you would like to join our Patreon family, check us out at patreon.com/recap_rewind. If you join, you'll get access to all things Recap Rewind exclusive content, and updates.
And also make sure you guys are checking us out on all of our socials, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, Facebook. You can also find us on Google Podcasts, Spotify, and iTunes. Like, subscribe, follow, review, and comment to stay engaged with us at Recap Rewind. Thanks for listening. Bye.
Bye.